Hey VC, what's up? It's me, yours truly. I'm back to post a really quick video, actually kind of a part two to Harmless Rebels charity contest. I posted a video a couple hours ago and I ran out to do an errand, and when I opened my wallet, I saw something that reminded me of something I totally planned on mentioning in my charity video and completely forgot. And it's such a cool and kind of fun thing, and a very VC type thing, so I wanted to make sure that I had a chance to share it. So I thought I'll just do a second kind of addendum video to the one I just did a couple hours ago. But what it basically revolves around is this little card right here. This little, regular paper card. I thought it'd be cool to share it because number one, it's a kind of a very VC type of thing to do, and also it's a very inexpensive type of thing to do. If someone hasn't done it in your area for any reason. Because all you need is just a bunch of these little paper, cards that you can make for almost nothing. But you can see on the front there, it says, "You just got joyed." Okay? And on the back, what it reads is, 99.1 Joy FM listeners are being encouraged to share some joy as they go about their day. And 99.1 Joy FM is kind of like a station that plays Christian music and stuff like that, contemporary. And so it says, if you want to share your story as a way of saying thanks, call Joy FM at blah blah blah. And then kind of in that green there at the bottom, it says, "I hope this brightened your day. Feel free to share the joy with someone else." So what this basically is it's just a little card that when you are, like I said, just out and about in your day doing whatever, if you ever see an opportunity where you want to help someone or just, make a small, big, whatever bright moment in someone's day, you can just kind of do something for them and leave this card. And it just says, like, you got joy. So for example, when I first discovered this, I was at a McDonald's drive-thru actually, and I pulled up to pay the lady, and she goes, "It's been taken care of." And I'm like, And then she just handed me one of these, and I'm like, okay, what? And then by the time I pulled up to the next one to get my food, I read the back of it, and I was like, that is so freaking cool. And one of the first things that came to my mind was, that's like real life VCLT. It's just kind of like, you're not expecting it, and all of a sudden you pull up and you open up your door, mailbox, drive-through window, and all of a sudden, hey, here's something you didn't expect. And you're like, what? Who did this come from? Where did... I'm like, holy cow, that's like real life VCLT. so of course, I thought it was the coolest thing in the world, and I immediately wanted to get my hands on these. And so, I've been, kind of doing stuff here and there, and this is actually my last one. So, I'll get this out in the next couple of days or whatever, but it's just a really cool thing because, like I said, it's just one of those, when you're out and about throughout the course of your day, it's not saying you have to look for someone that's in need or look for a cause or look for whatever. It's just like when you're doing what you're doing, if you just want to say, hey, at this moment, I'm just going to decide to put something of joy in someone else's life and let them get joy. That's what you do. You just kind of do it, and then you can, kind of slide this. And I think this is one that works really good anonymously too. I think that's kind of the cool thing about it, because I don't know which car in that drive-through paid for my meal. I don't know if the person in front paid for take the 3 cars behind me, or is it the person directly in front of me? It's like, I have no clue. But that's just kind of the cool thing about it. And so I've done the same thing a number of times, going through a drive-through, and even a couple of times, even kind of vice versa. I went through a drive-through, and there was a guy that was sitting over there, homeless guy. And so I bought a combo for him and just said, could you guys, when you get that ready, could you take it out to the guy sitting right over there and give him this as well? So, I don't know how he reacted. I was gone by the time they took it out there, but I don't know. It's something just really, really cool about that. And again, just the way that it resembled VCLT. I had been meaning to share this for quite some time with the VC, and then said this charity video came up, and I was like, oh yeah, okay, now I gotta make sure I tell them about this, and I made the freaking video and forgot to mention it. So there's your "You Just Got Joyed." And it's so cool too, because I think much like the VC, when we pass VCLT and stuff like that, we don't pay attention to how expensive an item is, or who has so much or who doesn't. It's just kind of like, you know, when you connect with something and something hits you and you feel, I'm going to give this to this person, that you just kind of do it. And I think that that's really cool too, because that's really what I felt. Again, I just kept thinking all kind of VCLT stuff when I first experienced this, but I was kind of thinking about it in terms of the person that did this for me. I was driving my Challenger that day, which I just got not too long ago. So, you know, I'm in my brand new car and, you know, the whole nine, and I'm not sitting there thinking that I probably look like I'm helpless or in need, so to speak. But that person sought to do that for me anyway. And so it makes me feel really good in what I've done with this, not because I've done something good, but the thing that makes me feel kind of good and excited about it is the person who did that for me. They're the ones that did that, because without them, I wouldn't have known about it, you know. And I'm sure they probably don't know what VCLT is, but how could they know that this right here was going to spark the feeling and the thoughts of VCLT outside of the vinyl community? And so, you know, it's one of those things where I don't give myself really much of any credit for it at all, but it was like, you know, that person, there's one that sparked all of that. And so, real life VCLT outside of the VC. So again, it's a really, really cool idea. You know, if you haven't seen it in your area or whatever else, I would think someone could start it just by printing up a few hundred or a couple of thousand of these, which I can't imagine would run anything, and just putting them out there everywhere. Really, really cool stuff. But yeah, like I said, I wanted to make sure I kind of shared that, because it was so VCLT-ish to me that I've been wanting to share it forever, but I just don't think about it until I'm out and about and whatever. So anyway, there you go, VC. Wanted to share that kind of quick, very cool thing that 99.1 FM did. Again, have a good Christmas, guys, and we will talk to you soon.